the goddamn bed.
Engage.
I think the button has been
weird.
hit. Yes, we are live.
100.
That is absolutely what you would say. You'd be like,
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Two Captains, One Pod.
What kind of pod we're in, you decide.
It looks a little different here on my side of the screen, don't it? That's because I got my wife here, and we got our baby boy Levy, who is 1 today. Yeah,
solar year.
a whole year around the sun.
On Earth, we should clarify.
And that means two things with him, because Jesus Christ, I've tried to cater my life around him, and it's never been good enough. But that's okay. We love him nonetheless. We're talking about Star Trek, the animated series, today. But also, the reason Han is joining us is we're not going to be able to fit. We're going to talk about the animated series and be done within like 20, 30 minutes. Let's be honest here, folks. Okay, there's not a lot to that series. It ran for 2 seasons, and that was it.
Which, if you ask me, was 2 seasons too long, but
you know, like it wasn't a bad show. It wasn't a bad show, but it's hard to watch. It's very hard to watch because it's a very as much as the 60s, as much as the original series is the 60s. It's okay because it's live action. You can kind of get past a little bit of it because it's live action. You really can't do that with the animated series. It's very much a product of the 70s. But on top of that, my wife and I have gotten all the way through the original series. We've gotten through Enterprise. We've gotten through 2 seasons of Strange New Worlds with plans to go back here very shortly. And 2 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. So we're going to have her on to share her thoughts here in a little bit. But let's get into Star Trek, the animated series. We already know Carter's thoughts on it. John, you made a face, so you've got a very
I
different
did make a face.
Yeah.
I love the animated series. I think it's cute, it's campy, it was geared towards kids, and I think it encapsulates that perfectly.
the
But
animated
I enjoy
series
the
makes
hell
Star
out of
Trek
it.
for a good movie.
Look, I enjoy the animated series for a whole different reason. Not because of what it did or what it is, anything like that. I enjoy it because it really brought the camaraderie of the cast and showed how much that cast was a true family, is a true family. Because as the not so rumor goes, that as they were getting ready to do the animated series, there was going to be William Shatner, Majel Barrett, Leonard Nimoy, and James Doohan, and that was going to be it, excluding Chekhov, excluding Uhura, excluding Sulu, and Rand, and a couple of our other favorites. Favorite background characters. And Leonard Nimoy was like, "No, suck on that one. I'm not going to do it if you don't bring back Nichelle and Takei." Now, of course, Chekhov, Walter Koenig, did not want to come back for this. He was actually trying to distance himself from Star Trek at the time. Didn't necessarily want to come back for it, so he did take his break. He was not a part of the series. But basically, Leonard Nimoy became a holdout until Nichelle and Takei were offered roles. James Doohan would also hop on this holdout trend, and so would Majel Barrett. The only one not willing to hop on the holdout train was William Shatner, but that's because he kind of needed the money at that point in time. William Shatner wasn't necessarily Booker T yet, and all anybody saw him from was Star Trek, and then, of course, the Enterprise commercials. Enterprise, we'll pick you up.
Good old Jimmy Kirk.
And because he's a Jew, so money is always good.
You're right. HR number one. But so he kind of really needed the money, so he wasn't willing to hop on that train. But it doesn't mean that he he did not love the cast as much as everybody else. But there are rumors that we've heard over the years, of course, that the cast was less friendly with each other in some aspects until later on into the movies. But different day, different story. I enjoy parts of the animated series. There are some episodes, like I said, it's just hard to watch because it's so much a product of the 70s, and it's just like I said, the original series got past it because it was live action, and you could just, if you squint your eyes, it's okay. But you can't squint your eyes at a cartoon and it be okay. Like with some episodes, you almost gotta be on an acid trip to get through the episode. The animated series, I feel, but I could say that about a lot of 70s cartoons and 70s TV show. Hell, I was raised on the Smurfs and the
Oh
Snorkels
my god, I forgot.
of all things, and those are 70s products. So I know what I'm talking about. But I will say I love how the Enterprise is supposed to fly for a 5-year mission. The original series is 3 seasons long. The animated series, which is just a continuation of the original series, is 2 seasons long. So by technicality, we got the full 5-year mission. The Enterprise served her time. We got to see it all. And again, a show geared more towards the kids because, with the original series, we hear so much about, when we sat down and we watched this as a family, this was the only show allowed on our TV. This show, my dad was more into it than I was. And then they basically just kind of flipped the script with it, with the animated series. My grandmother, who grew up watching Star Trek as it came out, the original series as it came out. My great grandfather, Grandpa Alton, as he's lovingly referred to in our family, was a massive Trekkie. He loved the original series, and when they came out with the animated series, this is at a point my grandmother is like on the edge of adulthood. This point in the 70s, she's not quite 20, but about to be in her early 20s when the animated series came out. But she was still, there were TV shows, some cartoons she'd still watch, and the animated series was one of them. She absolutely loved this, loves this series. When we got my grandparents their first smart TV, we signed them into the Paramount app, and I told my grandmother, I was like, it's got all of the Star Trek series on there. I mean, it's got the animated series, it's got all the new stuff. She said, I don't care about the new stuff. Does it have the original series, the animated series? I was like, yes, Grandma, it does, and it has all 6 of their movies. She's like, that's all I need.
Now there was one day where we watched Generations.
Yeah, she likes the TNG crew. My grandmother loves the TNG crew as well. She likes
she got mad
some
because
of their
we walked
movies.
away with the Wi-Fi because we were using our hotspot. We walked away with it, and she was like, "Hey, fix the TV before you leave."
Yeah. But and then of course her and my grandfather love a bunch of westerns, and Paramount has some of the old school westerns, but we also set them up with AMC, who has a lot of the better westerns like Bonanza, Gunslinger, those types of shows, which would also feature Leonard Nimoy and DeForest Kelley, but DeForest Kelley looking completely different from our good-natured doctor that we know and love so very much. But yeah, so I've seen, like I said, I have not, honest to God, seen it in full. I think I've seen a good 80% of the animated series. But like I said, it's just, and I have not seen it in succession. I'll tell you that right now. I have not sat down and just decided, let's watch this.
One episode one at the time.
Right.
Because
It's
most
more
sane
like
person says, hey, let's sit down and watch the animated series.
My grandmother, like I said.
Me.
Like I said, no sane person sits down to watch this and says, "Hey, you know what I want to watch? Let's watch Star Trek: The Animated Series."
I mean, you are talking about my dad's mom, so you know it kind of makes sense because my dad's not exactly, but a different story for a different day.
I know
You're
that
not very sane either.
my dad grew up. I know he watched the original series. I think he watched it with my grandpa. I'd have to ask. But I know that he watched the original series all the way through. And he tried to get me into Star Trek, but it was at that point of like childhood where I was like, okay, Dad, good for you. It's nerdy, whatever.
That and your dad's more Star Wars than he is Star Trek.
Yeah.
I love Kevin to death. I really do.
Same thing you did, where you were when you started trying to get me into Star Trek, you were immediately like, I'm gonna show you Trouble with Tribbles. And that was the first episode I remember watching with my dad. But my dad I think my dad likes The Next Generation more than he liked the original series. But I know he watched the cartoons because it came out when he was growing up.
Right.
Because my dad was born in 1971.
Yeah, and my dad grew up with the animated series as well. He doesn't necessarily like.
He watched it.
My dad will watch Star Trek. You know, if it's on, like he loves the sci-fi weekends, the movie,
Marathon.
the movie marathons. He'll watch those,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't necessarily sit down to watch the original series or to watch the animated series. But he has said he's seen the entire animated series when he was growing up because it was Star Trek it was on. It is one of the few things that he got to bond with Grandpa Alton with. So, because Grandpa Alton, he's a different story for a different day type of man. But you know, Star Trek is one of the few moments in time where he let his walls down, and you can honestly get him to kind of be a little bit more of himself and not so much of a tough asshole. But I mean, to be fair, he was a corpsman in the Navy in World War II, so tough asshole is kind of a moot point.
It's kind of in the job description at that point.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, you know, the animated series is really cool because it proved that Star Trek not only could be a family show, but it can be geared towards kids and, you know, get kids interested in shows that weren't necessarily for them. And it proved that it could still have its themes and its topics, but work for kids as well. To get them interested. But that's just about as much as I know about the animated series. This is more of a John topic, so John, your thoughts on it?
I enjoy like I said earlier, I enjoyed the hell out of the animated series. I mean, like when I on my weekends and back when I was working on my weekends, this is what I'd turn on in the mornings. Like I'd turn it on, I'd have a bowl of cereal and engage in some good old nostalgia. Because god damn it, if I'm gonna watch a Saturday morning cartoon, it's gonna be fucking Star Trek.
I mean, yeah.
But I enjoy it.
Slam a shot there.
Yeah, good old shot of Mountain Dew. Anyway,
Mountain Dew, okay.
yeah. But between the stories and everything they were able to actually do, because with it being an animated series, you can show a lot more alien species than you could with, say, a live action show that was on a very limited budget. All it takes is just a little bit of extra drawings. But yeah, I love the animated series. I love everything they did with it, and some of my favorite stories have come out of the animated series. Some of my favorite just Star Trek stories in general have come out of the animated series. So,
and mind you, if you're going to go back and watch the animated series, you need to keep two things in mind. It's very much a product of the 70s, and this is a cartoon that came out when they were still animating cartoons with, you know, the way we used to draw a stick figure kicking a ball on a sticky note pad and then flipping through it in school. That's how they were animating this show because that's what animation was limited to. Computers really weren't a fucking thing yet. Uh, so the animation style is a little rough as well. Like I said, it's close. It's very close because a lot of the animation, a lot of the artists that they had for the animated series were the artists laying down the comic books that DC would be printing for Star Trek at the time, and laid out how our favorite characters, would look in the comics. And so, it's not a bad animation. I'm not trying to say it's rough. It's rough because of the way they had to animate it. It's rough because of looking at a cartoon now looks nothing like a cartoon back then. I mean, watch shows like Family Guy. Okay, you watch the newest episode of Family Guy that comes out in 2026, and then you verse it up against an episode that came out in the first season
episode.
in '99.
I don't like watching.
Those are two different animation styles for Family Guy. You can see the definite split between them. You can see the raw animation that they used in '99 before computer generated cartoons became a big thing. So that's something you got to keep in mind when you watch this show. Carter, your full thoughts on it?
I gave my full thoughts on it.
Well, interestingly enough, Star Trek: The Animated Series was put out by Filmation, which for some of you that name should ring a bell. That is if you grew up watching He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It is the same people who made He-Man made Star Trek: The Animated Series.
I'm not at all for it.
And He-Man and Filmation would also not only make He-Man, but later would make Thundercats as well.
Yep.
Hence why I don't care for the Star Trek show, because if you base it against their other work, it's great. It's wonderful. And you get to the animated series, and it's just a hodgepodge of the writers at the time were doing as much LSD as physically possible and said, hey, let's make a show. Okay, what are we going to base this on? We're going to do it off of Star Trek, a show that's never been animated before and should not have been animated.
I think he did a little too much LDS in the 60s.
Hey, that's my shtick.
Well, with that is the animated series. Like I said, guys, 30 minutes. It hadn't even been 20 minutes, and here you go. That's the animated series breakdown we have for you guys.
It has been 18 minutes.
There you go. Not even 20. There you guys go. So now we get to hear from my wife. Right. Now we get to hear from my wife, her walkthrough of Star Trek so far. We're gonna berate you. We're gonna judge you harshly.
You already do that every day.
We're gonna reduce you in rank if you answer poorly in any of these questions.
I don't know. You can. No, you're not going to do that. I am what keeps y'all from getting in super trouble with HR.
So,
damn it, she's got us there.
My first question is: okay, you have seen, you've seen 3 renditions of all 4 renditions of Captain Christopher Pike.
Yes.
You've seen Anson Mount in Strange New Worlds. You've seen Jeffrey Hunter in The Page. You got to see Sean Kinney in the 2-parter where we find him all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see Bruce Greenwood in the Kelvin Timeline series.
Yes.
Who has been your favorite Captain Pike so
far? I think Strange New Worlds and the Kelvin Timeline take a very good, they take good renditions of Pike and what he's supposed to, everything you've heard about him and what I've what y'all have told me, what I understand him to be. He deserves the ranks he has. Everything he's done, he is a great captain. But if I had I don't think I can really tell you who my favorite has been because Strange New World takes him before his accident. And I get to see not just but like we get to see a very good, a younger aspect of him. Whereas in the Kelvin timeline, his accident happens while he's older.
Well, he doesn't have the accident in the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah, well,
he's just
still
killed. He's straight done for, dead. You know. Honestly, another Sean Kinney is not a viable option for favorite Captain Pike. I know Jeffrey Hunter really, as well, is not really a strong candidate for favorite Captain Pike because Jeffrey Hunter really get to see him in one episode. We don't really get to see who Captain Pike is in that episode.
But even in one episode, he's a very serious captain, but that's also why we have the more emotional Spock to balance it out. And while he is a good captain still, I think it was a bit too serious, not necessarily too serious, but for lack of a better term, a lot more serious than I feel like he could have been. Like, I feel like he could have pulled back on that, but I think that was just his acting style.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't really fault him for that. It's also just the way the character is written. There's going to be more serious captains. But if I had to choose a favorite one, I'd probably say the captain from Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
I think that was my favorite rendition of him. He's still on the serious note, but he's also...
Now, another question I'm going to have for you that kind of along that same line. You've seen 3 renditions of Spock now.
Yeah.
You've seen Leonard Nimoy, you've seen Ethan Peck, and you have seen Zachary Quinto. There is not a correct answer on this because each Spock holds a different place in my heart as well.
Right.
For the entirety of who the character is.
No, there's a correct answer for this. Don't listen to him.
Well, okay, there is a correct answer for who is the best Spock. However, you can sit there and say, well, Ethan Peck for this, Zachary for this, and Leonard for this. But we all know that Leonard is the best Spock. That is hands down got to be the correct answer.
I mean, he was the original Spock. He is, in and of himself, Spock. I mean, you can even see it in his directing styles.
Yeah.
But I do like Zachary Quinto was in the movies, right?
Yes, Zachary Quinto was the...
I have horrible... I can't names and faces. Just don't...
Ethan Peck is Strange New World.
Right.
Leonard Nimoy, of course, the original series and the movies. And then Zachary Quinto is Kelvin Timeline Spock.
I think Zachary Quinto does a very good job at the duality of being half human and dealing with the emotions. While you do see that with Spock, he does in the original series, it's not quite the same, if that makes sense. In the Kelvin timeline, he's more, he's a younger Spock. And being a younger person, you are, just like we see with kids, it's harder to control those emotions. That's why kids have those outbursts, because they haven't learned to control emotions. While he is also, half Vulcan, and they have, evolved past emotion, you see the duality better in him. Like, it's discussed in the original series, and you see it in the movies, but in the Kelvin timeline, I think they really captured that duality better. While Ethan Peck is still a very good Spock, if Spock was, I would say, more Vulcan, I think he captured a Vulcan very well. I'm excited to see where he takes that, though, with the newer seasons coming out, and when we journey back to watching those. Because I know that they were touching on emotion.
Yeah, we're probably going to get those, soon-ish as we start to go through TNG. We're sprinkling the newer episodes of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, just to kind of break it up a little bit. But I do think that Zachary Quinto did the best job of portraying the duality of being half human and the way that other Vulcans would treat you being half human.
I kind of have to agree there because I mean we really don't get that with Leonard Nimoy's Spock until the movies, honestly, and it's really only in a couple of them. You know, Wrath of Khan, we get to see Spock ditch all emotion or ditch all logic and go full emotion to save his comrades, save his ship, save his friends at the risk of his own life. And then, of course, in Undiscovered Country, when you find out the plot twist at the end of the movie, it's this really it's this Vulcan who is so well that she has outdone Spock in the Academy, that she has done the sabotage. And you see Spock, again, ditch all logic and slap her across her fucking face, which, thank God somebody did. You know, you get, you know, but again, we don't really get that with Leonard Nimoy. It's either he's all emotion in a couple episodes of the original series, or he's all Vulcan, all logic. You don't really get to explore that. So with Zachary Quinto, I gotta agree with that. I like that choice.
I think, especially if you're going to have a character that's half and half something, half species that is ruled by emotion like humans, versus half species that is ditched emotion and rules by logic, you're going to have that duality within yourself. I keep saying duality, but that's like the best term. But you also, within himself, discovers when emotion needs to be the thing that takes place and when logic needs to be the thing that you decide by. And I think that they were able to grasp that concept the best out of what I have seen so far.
So now, having seen all of the original series and the movies, putting it up against the Kelvin timeline, how does each one fare for you?
I think the Kelvin timeline was a great series of movies. Please hold while I grab the baby. I enjoyed the Kelvin timeline. It was a great take on everything that happened. I also like how when they did Wrath of Khan, instead of Spock passing, they did
Kirk, and
Kirk.
that
and you have that emotional battle.
Line. Well, that line of, you know, it's what you would have done.
Yeah, and
you know, having known that he did it, you know, the original Spock did.
Yeah. And yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed their take on it. But if I had to choose my preferred movies, I would say the original movies would be my favorites. There were a couple of them where I was just kind of like, this is a very interesting movie, and you can see the differences in who directed the movie too, and how the movie came out.
Which brings up a follow-up question from yours truly. What did you think of Star Trek V?
Which one is that?
That's the God one. Okay, so mind you, when we get to Star Trek V, right, and we start watching it, she goes, "Is this the Jesus one?" I was like, "Well, not Jesus, but this is the one about God."
Is this the Jesus one? Well, I mean, technically, with Cybok being based on like Televengeance, or however the fuck you say it, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I would say it is very much the Jesus one.
Yeah.
It's the Jesus one for people who
either way, your take on fine. How did she here? I'm gonna tell you before she gives her answer. This is my take on her watching it. She was honest to God. You know, I think her and Kirk had a lot in common in the what the fuck is going on throughout this movie.
I did.
Because you know we get to see God, you know, this being who's been outlawed on this world, and Shatner starts asking the question, "What does God need with the starship?" And Hannah's like, "No, he's got a point. Answers goddamn question.
Yeah.
What does God need with the fucking starship?"
That's one of my favorite Star Trek lines.
The overall concept, right? And I've seen this in multiple different people debating, you know, Christianity in a whole as itself, right? if an all-knowing, omnipresent being knows exactly what it would take to make every single person on the earth in every universe on every planet believe, then what the fuck do you need with a spaceship?
Mhm.
You just do it. That's
Yeah.
just your thing. You're God. You can just prove to everyone that you exist instead of having this constant battle of, does he exist? Does he not exist? Well, logically, would he? But then this being does seem to be God. But then you sit there and Kirk is right. What does God, if you're God, show me. Just, it's not that I don't believe you. It's just that,
I
you
seek
know,
proof.
I have my
I don't
doubts.
believe you.
You can see that I have my doubts. Show me whatever it would take to show me to make me fully believe you. Just like they did on the episodes in the original series where they saw the Greek pantheon, where Kirk was also like, well, can you prove it to me? And he does. But then you get to Star Trek V and it's like, well, can you prove it to me? And he's like, why should I need to prove it to you? Why can't you just believe me? And it's like, okay, but like Apollo proved it to me and you can't. It was
That
I see the hair that's
with that,
I got it.
what are your favorite? What's your favorite of the movies of the 6 movies?
Wrath of Khan and then the last one,
Undiscovered Country.
Undiscovered Country.
Do it 6.
And that's not to say that the other ones, other than the first one, I did not like anything about the first one. The first one does not exist to me. It is a movie that exists, and I don't like it. But it's like the Green Lantern movie. No one talks about it. It exists, but no one talks about it. And there's reasons.
There was no Green Lantern movie.
Exactly.
I liked it.
There's no war embossing.
There's no more embossing say. It's not to say that the first movie in and
There
of
was never
itself
a live
is
action
a
Green
bad
Lantern movie.
movie. It should not have been called Star Trek. It is a movie that would have been great if you did not put Star Trek on it. Like, make it literally anything else, and it wasn't a fine movie. But because there's already, it's the same problem that people have with like newer shows that go back in time in Star Trek. There is already a baseline of things that we know are like canon. If you go back and disturb that, then you negate things that we know as canon that have been established as canon for years. But I don't like the way the movies came out. And that's not to say that the director was a bad director. It was a movie. It was a movie. It exists. Like I said, if it had not been labeled Star Trek, I think it would have been a fine sci-fi movie.
Your thoughts on Search for Spock? How did you feel about that?
I did enjoy Search for Spock. I thought it was a very good movie. I loved, the way that it, like, Leonard Nimoy directed that one, right?
Mhm.
I love the way that he directed the movie. And it very much speaks to him as a director. Because if you look at the way that Wrath of Khan was done, and then you look at Search for Spock and the Voyage Home, and then you look at the one that Shatner does, you can see the different director styles.
Mhm.
And I think it also proves that, is it William Shatner or is it Kirk? Because the way that his movie, the one he directed, comes, it's very action-centered. It is an action movie. But the way that Leonard Nimoy directs, it very much felt like Spock directed it. Like, it was it was an adventure, but it was very story-driven. And less punch, wrestling, fight. It was adventure, but not action adventure. But then the way William Shatner directed it was very action adventure. It had a storyline, it was following it, but it was very action based. And then you get that, the undiscovered country.
Yeah.
Undiscovered Countries.
Undiscovered Country, and it's done by the same guy that did The Wrath of Khan.
Nicholas Meyer.
I think that they were done beautifully. I think that they very much touched on everything you've seen of Star Trek, of the original series. It moves character development. You see the more sassy Chekhov, and then everyone's like, dude, calm down.
Yeah, she
But
was.
not in the like.
One thing
I,
she has stated to me that I'm going to say here because she might have forgotten about this is that she has loved the movies a lot more than she did the original series for the simple fact of we get to explore more with Chekhov, we get to explore more with Uhura, we get to explore more with Sulu and Scotty. You know, our background characters. While the original series very much focused on Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, the movies focused on all of them
as a team.
And gave our background guys more of a front appearance in the movies.
It
and
gave
she
them
enjoyed
more
that. She
personality.
Yeah.
And
Get to see, Sulu be more of a cocky little, pilot that we know him to be. Like, again, like I've said previously in episodes, if you're piloting a starship, you have every right to be cocky. And so Sulu getting to show that in the movies was very fun. Her talking about Chekhov being sassy. She loves Chekhov.
I
in the movie.
so much.
And Uhura, we've always talked about Uhura being a true badass.
But then you get to really see it and how she's
Yeah.
like in
A no nonsense,
Yeah. I did like Uhura in the 5th movie. And because it showed off some of her, can you not lean back?
talent, her dancing.
Her dancing. Because we knew from the original series, we knew that she was, arts oriented to a degree. And then we don't really explore a lot of that. Like we see it in a couple of episodes, but no one really explores that. And then Strange New Worlds does explore that, and then we get the whole musical episode. I love that. That was my favorite episode. But then you also see it more in the other movies, and you really get to see her faith in Kirk. When in the first movie, when she's like, but it's Kirk.
Yeah, when
we have
that one
way
guy,
more chances of surviving this thing.
Right, when that one dude pops off and says, "Well, Decker's been with us for the whole refit," and she goes, "Yes, but with Admiral Kirk, we doubled our chances."
Our
We might
chances of
actually live.
returning from this mission may have just doubled.
Yeah.
But I also like how when she goes to the transporter and she's all like, "You want action? I'll point a gun at you. Now go over there and shut up."
Yeah.
Like one of the best scenes in that movie.
Oh,
Right,
absolutely.
Right.
And I love how serious she was. She was still serious, but she was also like, she played into the fact that I'm an older woman. Haha, I've got a gun. Now shut up. Go over there. And he's like, I'm going to go to the closet
Help,
now. Please don't
please,
excuse me."
somebody call an ambulance, but not for me.
Yeah. One of the
My favorite character was the whale.
we were watching
Whales!
we were watching 6 the other night, and the whole time I'm gearing her up for 6. I'm like, remember what Kirk has gone through in this movie. Remember what Kirk has gone through before everything is said in this movie. Remember, his son was killed on a planet
That he can't return
that
to.
he cannot return to. That planet no longer exists. So his son's body no longer exists. His first love, the Starship Enterprise, crashed on that planet. That planet no longer exists. The Enterprise no longer exists. He has fought these guys over and over and over again. I'm preparing for it. And then we get to that point, Jim, they're gonna die. Good.
Let them die.
And I just hear Kirk, and I pause the movie right then. I'm like, babe. She goes, I know. I'm sorry. I said it a little too soon.
Jim, they're dying.
I did.
Let them
I said
die.
it, and then I was like, wait a minute. I got to think about this.
Yeah, and so it was,
Don't believe them. Don't trust them.
Yeah.
But then, like, I also was thinking about it in in my head. I was also like, well, but we as a species have transcended beyond all of like we don't see color or race or accent anymore. We don't judge by those things. But then I had to think about, okay, well, like he said, if his grandfather, a Vietnam vet, I didn't think about all that.
Take grandpa out for dinner, and there's a Vietnam guy sitting over there, a guy from Vietnam sitting over there, and grandpa's gonna say something, and he's got every right to say something. But at the same time, you want to take grandpa to the side and go, we talked about this, grandpa. You can't say that stuff anymore. And then, of course, grandpa's going to be like, I know, I'm sorry. That was on me. Let me go apologize to the guy. And that's Kirk in this entire movie. Kirk is that in Undiscovered Country. It's, fuck them. Dude, right? I'm sorry. My bad. I know. I just drank with them like a couple weeks ago at the end of the last movie. I understand that. Hold on. Let me go apologize to them.
And like, I see where Kirk is coming from. Everything he's gone through, they've just went through a war with them. He's lost his son to these people. He lost his favorite
his
person. His first love. I was gonna say favorite person, and then I was like, it's a ship, but
yeah, I mean, technically,
And then on top of that, the mother of his child also goes and like secludes herself, so he can't even go and grieve with her. He has to do it on his own with his friends. And while yes, his friends are there, they were not the mother of his child. It would be like if, heaven forbid, one of our children passed and I secluded myself and Chris is left to grieve on his own. While y'all are there, it's not the same.
If you read the books, she doesn't seclude herself.
Yeah.
Okay, that's on you though.
Right before Star Trek 6 happens, the base where Carol is working at is attacked by that bird of prey. The prototype one. And she is in very critical condition for the entirety of that story.
Yeah.
Further adding to Kirk's space racism.
Right, but like again, he has every right to be. We talked about that when we talked about Undiscovered Country. He had every right to be. No, I did not. So let's get into the more harder questions for you.
Okay.
You've seen Pike. You've seen Kirk. You've seen Archer.
Sorry.
And you've got one singular episode, technically two, with Next Generation. Who's your favorite captain?
Oh. Okay, because Enterprise was the first show I watched, Archer will always hold a place in my heart. Okay? I think the best captain is Pike. So far, is Pike. And that's not to say that Kirk was a bad captain. What I am saying is that as captains go, Pike has been less ruled by emotion when making decisions. While that is not a bad trait, it led to bad decisions. Or not necessarily bad decisions.
Well, no, it led to bad decisions with both Archer and Kirk. Let's face it.
Archer was a very emotional captain, which led him to, which if you watch the last season of that show, he is
Fuck you,
literally.
Fuck that Andorian son of a bitch. Dude, we talked about this. I know, I'm sorry.
It's literally him in the last season, too.
That's him throughout the entire fucking series.
Yeah. He was a very emotional captain, which is not a bad trait in a person, but it leads to bad decisions that affect the rest of your crew.
Sir, the Vulcan just breathed in our direction. God, son of a bitch.
Yeah. And the same thing happens with Kirk. It's not that he necessarily makes bad choices in general, but the choices he's very brass. And the choices that he makes affects the lives of his crew. And Pike is very, very aware of how decisions can affect other people. Because, let's specifically taking Pike from Strange New World. he already knows he's going to go through this accident, and this accident is going to affect other people, very young people, and kill them. And so he is aware of how these decisions are going to lead him to that. And he does his best to make decisions that will avoid that in the future. So he leads less with the emotion and more with what is the best choice for myself and my crew to keep their safety as my priority. And while Kirk also does that, he does not do it to the extent that Pike does. Bless you.
Thank you.
Now, again, you've only had technically 2 episodes with Picard. Your thoughts on Picard so far? Now, I know this is season 1 Picard, season 1, season 2 of the Next Generation. They were still trying to find how they were going to build these characters, what they were going to look like. So he does not look like he does throughout the rest of the seasons, throughout the rest of the series.
Huh?
What are your thoughts on Picard so far?
I think like I said, as captains go, I very much understand where Picard is coming from. He is now on a Galaxy class?
Mm-hmm.
A Galaxy class ship that not only holds a crew, but also the families and children of crew members. And so you not only have to think about decisions that will best affect you and your crew, you are also thinking about how can I keep these people safe as well, on top of everything else you have to think about. And so I think it makes sense that he's not necessarily great with kids. Like, I am now very anxious about being in space. I have to think about however many people are in my crew on top of, let's triple that number because of how many people are not a part of the crew and still on the ship. And I have to make sure that all of those people stay safe and my crew focuses on their duties and not their family. But I do think I do think it's a great idea that the Galaxy class can separate, because I can now send you off in the saucer to be as safe as possible and as far away from this as I can, while still handling the situation. But that's less things to think about. But I do understand from just the first 2 episodes, I very much understand him as a captain, even in these 2 episodes. I understand him as a captain, the decisions he's under, the things he has to face. This is his first time being on this kind of ship. It's also, the first ship of its kind, right?
Second.
Now, second?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's still a fairly new ship. It's a new style of ship. This is his first time being on this kind of ship, and he is the captain of it. And he states in the episode, I'm not great with kids, so can you help me with that? And of course I assume we're going to see him work his way through that. To a degree.
Kind of.
There.
Here and there.
I assume that's going to be something that he faces.
I will say that the Next Generation movies, while not as big, while they don't have as many as the original series movies do, you also, just like the original series movies, you get to a little bit more deeper character development within those movies as well.
Right, because in the first episode,
on the show,
certain people in
but that's also kind of hard to say, because on the show, like I told you, there are character driven episodes that are just about Data getting more character development, just about Riker getting more character development, Geordi, Worf, Deanna Troi, Crusher, Picard, Wesley even getting more character development. So it's hard to say that way, because again, Next Generation kind of had the reverse of the original series. The original series had 3 seasons, 6 movies. Next Generation had 7 seasons, 4 movies.
5 seasons in the movie.
So
6 seasons. That's what most people say.
No, it had 7 seasons.
No, I know, but
yeah.
a lot of series, it's 6 seasons and a movie, and then that's the end of it. Anything past that is, ooh, good for us.
But so you get a lot of character development with Next Generation. But they do further that in the movies. Again, you get to see Picard worked through some stuff with kids involved in his time as captain,
No,
but he doesn't necessarily become okay
No,
with kids.
assume that he's going to be okay with kids. I
Uh,
figured he'd get more comfortable with them, but not necessarily like I want to hold your baby.
Favorite bridge tonight? You've seen several bridges now. You've seen the NX bridge. You've seen the Excelsior bridge. You've seen the Enterprise original series and Strange New Worlds bridge. You've had the refit bridge, the A bridge, and now we've got the Enterprise D bridge.
I think
You got 6 different bridges here. What are among your favorite bridges so far?
well, while it was a great first draft, I don't think the NX bridge cuts it. Like having, if you think about it, I do not like. Now, like I said, as a first draft of this is the first time this is being done.
Yeah.
I think they did their best, but I think the best bridge, my favorite bridge, is the Enterprise D, and then right below that is the original.
Okay.
And I think that's mainly because on the Enterprise D, you have, I don't really know how to describe it. I will say, one thing I do like that just makes sense to me as in general, I think you're going to laugh because I talked to you about this the other day.
The seatbelt.
The
thingy?
seatbelts.
Okay, so she did love Kirk's
Let me
chair from the
explain.
refit that had those little covers over the legs because hey, it's something close to a seatbelt. Her argument, this was hilarious to me. Because she goes, how the fuck? Because when we get the first look at the Enterprise A.
Why did you get rid of the seatbelt?
Yeah, she goes, why the fuck did you get rid of the little leg cover thing? Because now he's got no goddamn seatbelt. We had something close to a seatbelt. Now we have no fucking seatbelt.
Here's my reasoning, okay? Here's my reasoning. Watch the original series. You get into a battle, you need to be stationary to control your section. And what happens? One hit and you've flown across the bridge. And now you have to get up and somehow make it back to your seat to control the panels. But guess what? You're getting hit again and you've flown across the bridge again.
Oh, just wait till you get to Generations.
Oh, God. But then they give you the seatbelts. And so you're less likely to fling out of your chair. You're still being thrown around. The seat still turns. But at least you're stationary. And you're still at your panel. That's like my only gripe. Which I think didn't the Kelvin timeline fix that and they gave them like automated seatbelts?
The Kelvin timeline, you see it once. You see it once at the end of Into Darkness as they're falling, and with Sulu going, with all due respect, we're not going anywhere, sir. Boom, heads and
seatbelt appears. You're not going to fly across the bridge. That is like my only gripe with all of them. Like, at what point are we going to put seatbelts? Seatbelts are required in vehicles.
So again, mind you, when these shows came out, seatbelts were not required. Even with Next Generation. When Next Generation came out, seatbelts were still, well, it was 87. Seatbelts were still
required until the end of the 80s, early 90s.
Seatbelts were only required for those under the age of 18 in the 80s. It did not need to be required for everybody until 1989. But even still, you bring up an argument that I love. Star Trek fans love this argument. Star Trek actors love this argument because
if I'm in battle,
the very first time I heard Mariana Sirtis' voice, not as Deanna Troi, but Mariana Sirtis, 2016. Okay, that the 50th anniversary tour. I'm going into the thing to see Mariana Sirtis and Michael Dorn, and oh my God, she gets heated. I will. I know there's videos out there of her at conventions talking about the seatbelts on. And
I've seen a couple of them.
Have you seen? Okay, this is for everybody. Y'all seen the little bit where Carrie Fisher talks about no bras
Yeah, there's
in
no
space.
underwear in space.
And her talking to George Lucas about that, and then asking why the new girl has
A bra.
a bra. And well, Mariana Sirtis got to meet Gene Roddenberry towards the end of his life, and known him for quite a few years beforehand. And had asked him the same thing. Gene, why are there no damn seatbelts on this fucking bridge?
And even, okay, thinking about this, yes. We are also thinking about, okay, it's the 80s, it's the 60s, whatever. Seatbelts are not a required mandatory thing in vehicles. We are not in a vehicle with wheels. The worst thing it's not like the worst thing we have to think about is crashing into another vehicle. We are in space. Watch the original series. How many times are they flung out of their chairs and have to get up and somehow scramble back to their space? If I'm supposed to be tactical and I'm supposed to be hitting you with what are they called?
Torpedoes.
Yeah, torpedoes and phasers. And how am I supposed to do that if I have flown back across the bridge and I've flipped over another panel and then my captain has flung out of his chair very dramatically, I might add. And is also flipping across the. How am I supposed to fight back if I am supposed to be here controlling the weapons? I can't do that because I'm over there now. And I have to get up and run back over there. But guess what? We got hit by phasers again. And our shields are now down. And there's a giant hole right there. And I'm trying not to. Let's hope to God I'm not a red shirt.
Yeah, as soon as she gets to Generations, she's going to have a real conniption fit about those damn seatbelts.
Oh, I know it. I'll call you for that too.
Just so I can hear it.
But no, you're getting into an argument that Star Trek fans and Star Trek actors have loved for years.
I'm just saying that logically, let's think about this as like if we were Vulcans. Logically, it makes the most sense to have a fucking seatbelt.
All right.
I didn't realize how
next up on the ballot. Next up on the ballot. Okay, now this is a very hard question for me, for John, and for
Jesus.
So it's going to be a hard one for you because you still haven't seen all of it. But of what you have seen so far, who is your favorite character? And if you can't give me favorites, I want your top 5.
Out of all of them, or out of a specific series?
Out of everybody.
John's gonna understand this, and you're gonna hate me.
Say Archer, aren't you?
No, Porthos.
Fuck you.
Oh, it's so cute.
He doesn't count.
It does count. He is a character. No, I think I'll do it like this. Hold on.
Porthos is as much a character as the Enterprise herself.
Absolutely.
Well, that's my fucking point. So fuck you.
Okay. My favorite doctors. I have to do it this way because there's no way I can narrow it down. I love McCoy and Phlox.
Okay.
I think I love Phlox a little more than McCoy, but that's not because
I can't. My face doesn't stretch that far. I was trying to do the whole Denobulan smile thing that he does, but my face doesn't stretch that far.
Hold on. Look at me. No, come here.
Look, I love Phlox too, but he is better than McCoy. Fuck off.
No, I did not say he was better than McCoy. What I said is I loved his character more than McCoy. Now, that's not saying that I didn't love him. It is quite literally a Phlox McCoy. They are right on top of each other. I just love Phlox a little more because I think. Oh, I hate you.
And there's my next trip to HR.
Well, I'm just gonna say.
I'm sure there's a fan fiction out there for it.
I'm sure there is.
Somewhere.
I'm just gonna say it. All right. Phlox is not deserved to be above McCoy. For the simple fact, McCoy went back in time and gave some woman a kidney.
Doctor gave me a pill and I grew a new kidney.
I'm not saying that he's not a bad doctor or that he's a bad doctor. I am not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. All I am saying is that I fucking love Phlox. He's got this menagerie of weird animals. He does his best to treat everybody equally, and he's an alien. He is one of the only aliens. He is one of what, 2 aliens?
I will say, Phlox does bring a lot of compassion for it. Phlox was written as every nurse's wet dream. And I don't mean that in like a sexual way. I mean that in like
No, I
every
get
nurse,
what you
every
mean.
doctor, every nurse, every doctor, every medical professional out there would love to be able to sit there and stand up to anybody forcing them to do their job in the wrong way and tell them no.
And Phlox does that.
And that's what I'm saying. Phlox is able to do that. I mean, we see it when, in a few episodes, that one episode where he's supposed to kill this patient, and he's like, "No, fuck you. I will not do it. It is against my oath as a doctor. It is against my medical oath." And every doctor, every nurse, like I said, every medical professional would love to do that same thing. 100%.
And Phlox is capable of being able to say things like that.
Mm-hmm. He's written like a wet dream, and really, honestly, no.
Which, I mean, for some people, that is a sexual wet dream.
That's true, but again, he's written as a medical professional's wet dream, and I do appreciate about that. But McCoy, in that same breath, is the same exact way, just country doctor. Okay, and
that's why I can't say I love one more than the other,
because
they are like right there equal. They both deserve number one. And
because again, that iconic line with McCoy. What is this? The Dark Ages? Jesus Christ!
but also, I love
working with medievalism
McCoy.
Here.
I love the way McCoy, because let's put this out there. We are both Southern country in different ways, but we are both Southern country. The doctor I trust the most would be another Southern doctor, but also the fucking sassiness. Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not an insert whatever the fuck you want to put here.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
Right?
What am I, a doctor or a moon shuttle conductor?
Right, and then I also love the way he is a doctor, and he is so against the transporter. He's like, I don't want my molecules all disassembled and reassembled because you might do it wrong at some point. I love that. I love everything about it. I love it. I love it.
Scattered all over space, boy.
Which must mean you must have enjoyed the one scene in the motion picture. He said something about seeing how it scattered our atoms.
Right.
That's got a very familiar ring to it, doesn't it?
That scene. That was like one of my favorite scenes. I just love McCoy. If I had to choose a doctor, I would have, if one of them isn't available, I'm going to the other one.
So your top two are Phlox and McCoy.
Yes.
Tied for first.
Yes.
You got, next up, you have M'Benga and Crusher.
Oh my god, M'Benga. I haven't seen nearly enough of Crusher to really make a decision on how I feel about her.
Of course.
I do, as a mother.
To be fair, in the first 2 episodes of The Next Generation, we see Crusher more as a mom than a doctor. She doesn't really get the chance to be a medical. She's not given the chance to be a medical professional just yet.
And so as a mom myself, I love the way that Crusher is portrayed, even being a doctor, because there's a whole scene where her son's trying to talk to her and she's trying to get medical stuff done. And she's like, I love you so much. Please get out of my way though. I have a job I need to do. I love you and I will talk to you, son, but take 3 steps that way and get out of my way. I'm trying to stand this.
When Wes is trying to get a look at the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I love M'Benga too. Because you see a little of M'Benga on the original series, but you don't nearly see enough of him. And I love that Strange New Worlds has M'Benga, because it brings this whole new level of him. And I love everything about him. I love the way he was also so focused on trying to figure out a cure or save his daughter, or at least extend her life, that he left her in a transporter to keep her as safe and as alive as he possibly could until he couldn't any. And then that whole episode where they're in a story, I think it's the best way
That was a great
to
episode.
do everything. It was a great episode.
It's a great episode, but very hard.
Yeah, as a parent, that was a hard episode to watch. Because I can't, after having children, I can't watch things like that.
And I talked about that when we talked about Strange New World a couple weeks ago. It's again, what would you do in that same situation? Being a medical professional, knowing that if you just had a little bit more time, you could figure it out. But at the same time, here's the.
But you're on a timeline, and
yeah, but here's this entity that can, she'll live. You just won't be able to see her anymore. She'll live. She'll be alive.
How can I sit there and?
Oh,
I had the same conversation with you when I was not related to Star Trek. I had the same conversation with you when I first started listening to the first disc on Epic, where he has to drop the infant over the wall. And I sat there, to reach home, I have to kill a child that is the same age as my child when I left home. And I sat there for a hot minute, and I was like, as a mother, I was like, I don't see a way that I would be able to do that.
She hated my answer, because my answer was, if it gets me back to you, yeet.
Yeah, and then I sat there on it for a while, and if it means that I get home, or if it means that you have a better life, then I will, oh God, goodbye.
We lost Carter.
We lost Carter.
But in the best interest of my child, if it means that you are away from me to stay alive, to live a good life, then I will make that decision. But I will not be happy with it, truly.
Mhm.
Just this past week, my father-in-law came to help us with the car, and I had jokingly said,
he's back.
I had jokingly said, well, why don't you take Artemis with you? Of course, I was under the assumption that the car was going to be done in 2-3 days. And it'll be just over a week. And I did not realize that it was going to be this hard to be away from her for this long. So I can't even imagine M'Benga making the decision, or actually, he didn't even make the decision himself. He posed that decision to his, 6-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're sick. You're very, very sick. But this entity has the ability to make you not sick.
He said, what do you want, baby?
Yeah.
And that's what he said. He
literally. And I can't imagine being in his shoes. And of course, everything he does past that is going to, remind him of her. But it does not affect his decision making as a doctor, because all he thinks about is, how can I save you?
So we have our doctors now. We have your captain's list. Before we get any more characters, you guys, I know y'all have questions for Hannah so far with what she's gone through. I know both of you really enjoy Enterprise as a series, and Archer as a captain, more so than I do. Again, like I said, based off
to yell at it for an hour about the Ferengi.
But based off of what Carter has brought up in previous episodes of the podcast and stuff, I want to rewatch it. With the mindset that Carter and both John have kind of argued for Archer to, give him a real good, fair chance at everything, and not see it through the eyes of a Kirk and Picard-driven guy.
You have to look at him as his own person, and you can't compare him. Even from what I had seen prior to watching that show.
And that's what these two have drilled into me. So I know
excited.
You guys have your own questions for Hannah.
Does that mean that we won't have to skip through the song?
We're still skipping.
What is your beef with that song, man? Come on.
Carter,
love this
you've been very quiet on this episode. We're going to open it up for you, Carter. What
I dream
questions
about that song the other
do
day.
you have for Hannah?
Well, first off, the reason I've been quiet on this episode is because my internet is lagging so goddamn hard. It's been mostly robotic halfway through the podcast, so I haven't really heard
Well-
what's been said in the past 20 minutes.
Well, I
Love
will
that.
happily repeat any answers if you have a repeat question.
I got bits and pieces. I have enough context. So I guess one of my main questions would be, ship-wise, which one do you prefer? Enterprise
Damn it.
from Archer or Enterprise from TNG? Or not TNG, original series.
I think the NX Enterprise, in and of itself, it wasn't a question for you. Okay. Hey, look. Thank you. You gave me a very chocolatey kiss. I gave him M&M's. Yes, we will ask you
I
if you're
go
old
full
enough.
Terminator on some M&Ms
Anyway.
right now.
I think the NX Enterprise, for being the first Warp 5 ship, I think, though very
Small.
no, not small. For still not a question for you.
No, we got.
This is the same problem we had when we were trying to do that read through.
Mhm.
For being the first of its kind, for being supposedly like the first one called Enterprise. It in and of itself, though, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's new. It's not. They still have things that they need to hone in on better. What is the word I'm looking for? It's, I want to say robust, but that's not quite the right word. There are things that they could do better, and they will eventually, obviously, do better on it. I think between the two, the original series Enterprise was my favorite because I could see where they were trying to go with making it like the NX class, the first Enterprise. I could see what they were trying to do. And it's not
a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah. Like it wasn't necessarily a bad ship design, but like the bridge was lacking. But it also makes sense for it being the first one. They haven't figured out exactly what they need to do, and then later in the series when they return to Earth, you can see them saying, "Okay, well on this ship, I recommend these things." And I like that they touched on that because that is going to happen. Like this is the first. We have a 1-year mission, and then we come home and okay, here's what worked, here's what did not work. Let's see.
Excuse me, guys. I'll be back.
Okay, I'm gonna steal your spot. I'm a little too far away and there's a glare. But I see what they could fix, and I like that they touched on that in Enterprise. I also like that it was called Enterprise. But between the two, my favorite ship was the original series. It just worked better. It was laid out better. The getting around the ship made more sense. Even for it being like a first version of the Enterprise, some of the getting around didn't quite make sense to me, but I will happily rewatch it with him so that I can maybe I missed something. When we watched it, we were very tired. We had freshly had him. We were, trying to figure out how to be parents to two. And then there was the constant pausing to yell at the TV on his part about things that were canon that are being taken back. Which I can't wait to rewatch it with him so that there's less yelling and we can maybe get through it quicker. I'm not even joking. When I said that he yelled at the TV for an hour about the
Mhm.
Ferengi, he literally paused it and an hour later unpaused it.
Yeah.
Which I understand, like, have after, watching everything, I understand. But at the same time, not very helpful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, John, you got any questions?
So, going back to the ship question, since we've already...
On.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you prefer the original Enterprise or the refit?
Honestly, the original. Not to say that the refit was bad. I just did not like it was very how do I okay. The original series felt like it could be someone's living room.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a sense. Like it felt like an office. Whereas the refit felt like a conference room. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the Enterprise, you're on a 5-year mission. And you need to be comfortable. You're there for a long time. You're going to see the same space every day for roughly 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the refit, it didn't feel like a ship that was going to go on a mission like that. It felt like I'm going to go save somebody and come back. Maybe patrol a little bit to help them, but then I'm coming back. And it did not feel like something that I would feel comfortable. Like if the refit, let's say that we were on the refit. If I was going to see that and I had a 5-year mission every single day, do you know how monotonous that would feel? It's
Yeah.
the same thing every day. There's no color to it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if I'm going to be in it every day for God knows how long this is going to be, I would
Mm-hmm.
be so bored. Crew morale would be down. I don't see how that would be a good ship to go on a mission on, like an extensive mission.
That's fair.
But the original series, the original Enterprise, that is a ship I would happily be on for an extended period of time. I don't think it would be very boring, even if the mission wasn't that boring. And we're stopping a lot along the way. No one sits in a conference room all day, every day.
Yeah.
Even people who work in offices that do that. You are in, offices, even in the 60s, offices in the 60s did not look like conference rooms that we see now. They looked interesting. It had art. It was cool. And that's kind of how I feel about the original Enterprise. I could see them having like cool art on the wall, on the bridge, not necessarily on the bridge, but like if that was an office space, I could see them hanging art on the wall.
Yeah.
To make it interesting. Like the original series feels like I'm enjoying my job. Whereas the refit feels like going back to my 9 to 5 and not a job you enjoy.
All right.
You missed the question.
What was the question?
Which did I like better, the original series Enterprise or the refit? And I said that the refit feels more like a conference room, whereas the original series feels like an office. Like one that I would say, I enjoy this job. I enjoy doing this every single day for, how long. Whereas the refit feels like we are going out to save someone and coming back. And not I'm going on an extensive mission.
Mm-hmm.
I would not enjoy my job on the refit.
I have to disagree. I like the refit.
Saying that was a bad thing. I just don't think
I do have a follow-up question.
Okay.
From an exterior viewpoint, which do you prefer?
Oh, I think the refit is great on the exterior. Okay. I think it's just the fact that you mainly see the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you would have to be on. Like, let's say, not not necessarily Carter as an engineer, but like us three, we would have to be on that damn near every day, all day, for however long our shift is. That would be so monotonous. There's no color on it. Not necessarily that it needs color, but at the very least, something to differentiate between the floor and the walls. Like a different shade of paint or something. It is so... I know how to describe it. The original series is kindergarten when we went to school. The refit is sad beige babies. Do you understand that? It's the like
Thinking back on it, yeah, you got a point.
No, that I understand. But also, that's why I love the Excelsior when we see Sulu as captain of the NCC 2000 Excelsior. That's why I like this when I do my bridge design. These will be the colors on it. It'll be that that nice little blue and a silver and stuff like that.
Strictly the refit, right? The way the refit looks, it looks like sad beige babies. Everything is the same tone. Nothing is really different. It's all in the same color palette, but in a bad way. It is sad beige walls, sad beige, what is it, carpet? Is it carpet? I think it's carpet. Sad beige carpet. The chairs aren't even a different color. They look like the walls. Nothing looks interesting on the refit. Whereas on the original series, you have like bluer walls, accent colors. It is visually appealing. I would enjoy my job on the original series.
So what I'm hearing is you like the A better.
The what?
The A.
As far as interior design.
Yes. Yeah. The A looks better. It would be...
Yeah, the A is Star Trek 5, beginning of 4, and...
Star Trek 6.
It gave the... my brain just spaced on the word I'm looking for.
It broke up the monotony.
Yes, it broke up the monotony. It would be a ship I wouldn't mind being on. Maybe not for an extended period of time. It would still get monotonous after a while. But it was still better than everything being the same color.
Mm-hmm.
So on that same note, then, how do you feel about the Next Generation bridge? You got to see quite a bit of that.
The Next Generation bridge is also a good bridge. It is not, like, while it is still in a muted tone, it's not all the same color. It is still in the beiges and the browns, but it's better than it being all that whitish, like off-white color.
Mm-hmm.
It's depth. That's the word I'm looking for. It's got depth to it. It does not feel... It also feels like someone's living room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I said about the original series, too. It feels like it could be someone's living room. And that makes for a good space to do an extended period of time on. If it feels comfortable, you're going to want to be there. But if it looks like a very boring conference room where you could have been like, this could have been an email... No, I'm not going to be on a 5-year mission in a conference room every day. There's reasons that conferences are short. They only last like an hour to an hour and a half because no one wants to be there.
I get that. I can understand that.
Again, it's not to say that the bridge design itself was bad. It was a great bridge. It could have used color of some kind, at least not cream.
Yeah. I'd like it noted that it's Chris's wet dream to have his living room look like that.
I am aware.
No, the Excelsior Bridge. Refit.
Still.
Yes,
I didn't specify which one.
Hey, be careful with that.
And he knows, because
I'm aware.
If we buy this place, the room that we're living in right now will be that area for...
It will look much more visually appealing for us to when we... I would paint the walls, though. I don't like tan.
All right, next question. What do we got? Who wants it?
Carter, you got one?
I got nothing.
Okay, I do have another question. Now that you have seen like the first couple episodes of the Next Generation, did you notice something funny about Star Trek 6? I think Chris knows where I'm headed with this one.
Yes, I pointed Worf. I pointed Michael Dorn out
Yes.
playing Worf's.
Well, not
grandfather.
only that.
The music, the title sequence.
Well, not only that, but if you look at the Enterprise A, does it look eerily similar to something? Specifically, maybe like the hallways and the transporter room.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did notice that. He pointed that out to me, and I was like, oh, that will make sense. That it makes sense. But at the same time, it makes sense. Like when you already have all of that built.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of building it again? I don't know. We'll have to find it. I mean, like I said, I already have this beautiful set built. Why am I building the same set twice?
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to be like minute changes, like maybe the color scheme or okay, move it slightly to the left, I'm not rebuilding the whole set again.
Yeah.
It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. I have the set painted a new color. I think it might be over there in Levy's party.
But yeah, like the president's office is 10 forward. Gosh, even some of the crew quarters on the Next Generation are the Kirk's quarters from the first 3 movies.
Babe, he messed up his balloon. He only has the stick. That's why he's yelling for you.
It's not over here.
Okay, we'll find it. Where'd your balloon go?
But yeah, I always find it
Balloon
interesting when sets are reused like that.
I think it was a great use of a set that is. I mean, I don't imagine. He took the balloon part off of the stick. So now he's screaming at Dad to fix it.
But even engineering was reused in Star Trek 6, because I don't think we saw engineering in 5, I want to say. But
we
yeah.
never saw it in 5, but we did see it. I mean, the engineering has not changed between. There were minor changes between the refit Enterprise and the A Enterprise as far as engineering goes, and both of those would end up becoming sets used for the Next Generation's engineering as well.
Uh-oh. You see that? Give me the stick. I'm sorry.
Well, because I thought they had the engineering set built for Next Generation.
He's just gonna do it again.
But then when Star Trek 6 came around, they used that same set for the Enterprise A.
I mean,
They did.
Okay.
Like I said, so basically the warp core and the area around the warp core has been the same since Star Trek 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they made minor differences to it from the motion picture and to Next Generation when they started using it there. And then, of course, they altered it just a little bit back from Next Generation to look like the A bridge. But yeah, it's all been the same bridge and same set, same warehouse, I believe it was.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Well, I don't think I have any more questions.
I've got one question.
Oh, actually, I do have one more.
Okay, what's yours first?
What uniform has been your favorite so far?
oh man.
That's
a really good question.
There's only one
not
right
let
answer to
me
this question.
sway you in any way, shape, or form.
I'm gonna say this. I don't want you to be mad.
Oh God.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
You've already told me not to be mad, so it's got to be Archer's uniform.
No.
I was about to say
No. It was a great uniform for what they were doing.
Okay.
Bad uniform. Very bad uniform. Are you done?
Apparently not.
I love the next gen and the original series. The first movie sucked ass. What the fuck was that?
Those uniforms take a while to grow on you.
No, it will never grow on me. It looks stupid.
Oh my God, Levy.
That.
Just all of those uniforms in general, or like one specific one?
Just the first movie.
So, yes,
All of them in the first. All of them in that first one.
In the first movie. Yeah.
Yeah, all of them in that first one, stupid. Hate every second of it. They were awful.
Like I said, I like the short sleeve uniform that Kirk has, and I like McCoy's uniform.
Yeah,
in the first movie.
I think those were the
two
best
are-
out of that movie.
Those
Like
are the only
the-
ones that I can get
Like the
on.
two-piece that everybody plus McCoy wears.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fucking jumper, what the fuck?
The jumper where you can see Decker's cock and balls.
Yeah. That could have got
It
my whole life up
was-
that again.
Mm-mm.
You know, she's not a fan of the Monster Maroon.
I'm not. I like the excursion jacket. I'm okay with what Scotty wears.
The engineering vest.
The engineering
Yeah.
vest. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
That's
Hey,
my
look, here's a car. I'm not overall just not a fan of the Monster Maroon. I love.
It's
the
breaking my
way-
heart. It breaks in my heart.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
See,
Like I
that-
said, I love the excursion
Well,
outfit.
but see, that,
The
that's
pants
the
are.
correct answer. The Monster Maroons are not a good uniform.
I love the original series. I love the way that
He tasks me, and yet I shall have him. I'll chase him around the moon.
of Nibia and round Terry's maelstrom before I give him up.
let him go now. Good job. I do enjoy Strange New Worlds like pre-original series and then leading into what the original series is going to look like. I think for like everyday wear, the original series has a great concept. It looks comfortable. Plus, let's think about this.
It's made out of the most
It
comfortable
looks like
material
an
in the
office.
world.
It's gonna be cold like an
Velour.
office. You know what I mean? It looks like an office. Offices, for some goddamn reason, are freezing. Wear the sweater. For some reason, think about that. Every office you've ever been in, you're freezing cold. Wear the sweater. There's a reason that everyone brings sweaters.
No, that's
Oh,
just you.
shut up. I have poor circulation issues, so yes, that is a me problem. But that's not just a me problem. Not a lizard. Stop it. But
Lizard.
You're very rarely going to find a man that wears a sweater to the office like that.
no, but that's why y'all have like suits and blazers. Y'all wear them in the office. It's a thing that people do. Like you wear long sleeves to the office. Or you have
Because
a
it's a
jacket or
business
something that you
casual
leave there. Yes, you're
Because
so
it's called a business casual kind of thing. That's what most places require you to wear. Most
my
men
point still
nowadays
stands.
do
I
not like to wear the
constantly see
suit to an
people
office.
complaining about temperature in the office.
Now, again, what did you think about the Next Generation Scant?
If you watch, hold on. I think it's a great option for anyone to wear. I will also say this. If you watched the Next Gen and you did not have a problem with it, but you now have a problem with men in skirts, you are the problem.
I mean, gives you quite a bit
Just
of room
saying.
down there. You know, get to free ball it a bit.
Right.
Exactly.
I also did, I will say, I do enjoy the fact that Scotty had the option to wear a kilt that matched his uniform.
Mhm.
that was perfect. It played into the fact that, yeah, played into the fact that he is from a culture that does stuff like that, has that uniform.
That it also shows that even in the 23rd century,
We celebrate the
culture is very important in who you are. It's not forgotten. A lot of things that are forgotten by the time we get to the 23rd century, culture is not one of those. And it shows in the fact that we can still, much as we do now with the U.S. military, there are options in the U.S. military that you can wear a kilt. You have to show that you are of Scottish descent and heritage to be able to wear the kilt. But you can. They have a kilt for the Marine duty uniform and the dress uniform. They have a kilt for Air Force dress uniforms. Army and Navy are like the Marine Corps. They have a duty option and they have the dress option. The Air Force is the only one that only has a dress uniform option currently. But yeah, it's something we do in our own military now, and it's something that, like I said, it's very cool that they
celebrate.
show. Yeah, it's very cool that they show that even in the 23rd century, when most things of the past are forgotten, culture is not one of those. You are still from where you're from, and of course, bringing back that line, So tell me, where are you really from? I'm from Iowa. I just work in outer space.
Don't tell me.
Right? Like,
You're from outer space. No, I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space.
Work in outer space. It's still very much that, something that we celebrate now,
mhm.
still something that we're going to celebrate in 200-300 years from now. So
But
I will say I enjoy that
I
too.
do thoroughly enjoy the way the next generation uniform looks. I think it is a natural progression from the original series to that.
Mhm.
I don't It's not that I don't like the Monster Maroons. I do like that in them everyone, like, it's basically color coded. Like, I am wearing this turtleneck underneath it. This is what I do, and you can just kind of look at someone and be like, you are in engineering or you're medical or whatever. And that makes sense. It feels like that is something that would happen. If we are going chronologically, I don't think we would get to the next generation uniforms from the Monster Maroons. Personally, I feel like we would have the Monster Maroons, then the original series, then we would get the next generation uniforms. But that's just how it would play out in my head. That seems like the most logical direction of we would go from something that looks it's a uniform to it's more casual to, okay, well, this is probably the most logical thing that we should be wearing.
Actually,
That's not necessarily the word we want to
yeah,
use, but
thinking about it, that actually makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I was about to say she actually bring up a really good point here. But, again, far be it from us to tell you what your favorite uniform should be.
Yeah.
Again, everybody's going to have their own opinions. Whether those opinions are wrong or not, that's up to you to decide. But,
So I do have a interesting question. You kind of explained it, but like, what don't you like about the Monster Maroons? Out of pure curiosity.
Let's say we took today's military uniforms, right? It does not look like something that you would wear on a day-to-day basis. It looks like something that you should wear during formal events.
Okay.
But the way that they make it seem in the movies is that this is the thing that they wear this is their uniform. There is no casual version of it other than maybe I don't have the flap closed. Or the way that Scotty just doesn't wear the jacket and he only wears the vest.
I can kind of agree with that. Is that it looks more like a dress uniform? It should be a dress uniform, but it's not. It is the duty uniform. And if that's your only problem with it, then you're right in the boat with me. I still love the Bucky uniform. It's still my favorite because it's visually pleasing.
Absolutely. Like, we have. Can I grab it?
Go ahead. Go for it.
Like, let's take this one. Can you hold it up for me? So the excursion jacket.
Yeah.
It looks visually appealing. This is something that I would go outside in. It looks like it would keep me warm. And he tested it during the ice storm this past week or so. It did keep him warm. It is comfortable. It looks appealing. Having said that, this is not something, obviously this is the excursion jacket, but this is not something I would want to wear on a day-to-day basis. I'm not asking for your opinion, sir.
Although I will say though, the excursion jacket, I do have a qualm. I do have a qualm with the excursion jacket being in Wrath of Khan. It's set up that when you beam down, you wear the excursion jacket. But and even in Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, we see Saavik still wearing the excursion jacket when she beams down.
Right.
But when Kirk gets back there, he's not wearing his. In Star Trek 6 and Star Trek 5, when we're beaming down on planets, we're not wearing the excursion jacket anymore. And personally, I would have loved to see more of the excursion jacket. In the field setting of, okay, when you're beaming down onto a planet, this is what you're wearing so you don't tear up your duty uniform.
And that makes sense too. And I like the what's the other one called?
The bomber jacket.
The bomber jacket. The bomber jacket, again, visually appealing, looks amazing. Personally, what? Can you stop? I'm trying to do something. Okay. I think my biggest problem is that the main color on it is like everyone has the same color.
The red?
Yeah, red. And while yes, our undershirts tell us who is where, I don't think that is enough.
Okay.
Because
that makes
at a
sense.
distance, it's not. I don't know if this is because of the lighting and the way that it was filmed. It is not a distinguishable enough color. Like it's not bold enough like this.
It's not contrasting enough, is what you're saying.
From a very okay, fine, you can have it.
I kind of got to agree because I'm the same way with the Enterprise uniforms. All you get on the Enterprise uniforms, you don't really get a turtleneck. You get a little stripe on either shoulder, and I mean it's like a fucking quarter-inch thick. So you really, and until you're up on somebody, you can't tell if you're talking to the right person or not. So I kind of got to agree with
and it's,
that, but I believe
I like the concept that they have of every duty station having a different color. Like communications has a color, doctors have a color, engineers have a color, tactical, etc. Everybody has a different color. That is a good idea because then from a distance, make it bolder though. From a distance, I need to be able to tell that if I am shouting at someone at the end of the hallway, I am talking to the right person and I'm not just screaming at some random guy who has no idea what I'm talking about because, I can't tell from a distance the difference between a blue collar and a green collar. Or like, let's say someone is colorblind. They need the bold distinctions between the colors because even if you can't tell what color it is, there's still a distinctive difference between this and that.
Colorblindness is a thing of the past from the 23rd century.
Okay, yeah, you got a point there. I can't remember.
Most diseases are a thing of the past.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get it.
Okay, well, like, what if it's a species, though? Like, a species is just all of them are colorblind. And they enlist in... How are they supposed to be able to do stuff like that if you don't have a bold enough distinction of the colors?
But
they have workarounds for that.
Yeah.
And they do. I just thinking about it in today's standards, I would have made it a little deeper or bolder or a different shade.
You can't place today's standards on something like that. It doesn't work there.
Yeah.
While I do agree with you that yes, a bit of a different design choice would have been better. Most of those issues would have been completely eradicated already. Even if you have a race that's colorblind and they join Starfleet, Starfleet will work or give them some sort of tech, kind of like Geordi's visor
Jordan.
that he had.
Give me
They
just
would
a
give
second.
them
I'll be
some
right
sort
back.
of way to be able to differentiate the colors between who's command staff, who's who's doctor, who's engineer, things like that.
Right. So I'm, yeah. Like I said, you're making very good, valid points. Again,
Yeah.
Carter's with you 100%.
Yeah.
It's just you're.
I'm
you're
also
explaining
thinking of it in
something- yeah,
today's things when
which you can't.
Yeah, I mean, when,
It's almost in the same vein as before. It's almost in the same vein as before when we were trying to get Chris to watch Enterprise again through just Enterprise. He was taking what he had seen beforehand and basing it onto Archer, which isn't a fair thing.
But no, I mean, like I said, you bring up the point of it looks like more of a dress uniform than it does a duty uniform, because when we see them in the dress aspect of it, again, when you look at Star Trek 6, the very beginning of it, when they're in that meeting, the only differences between what you would wear normally on a day-to-day basis and your dress version of that uniform is you just put your ribbons and accommodations on it on top of it.
that doesn't
And-
make any sense to me. That's the only difference. Whereas even in the original series, even though it wasn't a very bold difference, it is still a distinct enough difference to be like, okay, this is what I wear every day. Even the captain had a third option where he had the fucking green wraparound thing.
Personally, I think, in all honesty, when it comes to the Monster Maroons, the bomber jacket should be the uniform, daily wear uniform, or just the turtleneck in general, and then the dress uniform should be the Monster Maroon
That you put
that we see
over
with the
it.
belt and everything else. Yeah,
Yeah, like I said, not a bad uniform, but for what they are trying to use it for, not the best option.
yeah. My next question for you. Glad that John's back here because John's gonna enjoy this answer. You've seen the Excelsior class,
Mhm.
you've seen the NX class, you've seen the Constitution and Constitutional Refit classes, and now you've even seen the Galaxy class.
Mhm.
If you had to captain, you're given your own command of the 6 different ships. Which ship would you like to command? What ship would you like to take hold? Let's not put it in the universe. Let's put this in the Star Trek Online kind of thing, where it doesn't matter what timeline it is. They have the ability to make the older ship capable of being in whatever setting you put it in. What ship would you like to command?
Well, the
Personally,
first issue is they're giving Hannah command of a ship.
yeah, for one, you're assuming that I would want to take command of a ship.
No, it's not about one. It's about the fact that they did.
Not the point.
Anyway.
Like an Asian driving, it just doesn't work.
Oh my god. Well, it did for Sulu, so.
Get out of the plane, you stupid Asian bitch.
Sulu, he's star of the show.
Good luck. I turn left. No, good luck. This time
Okay. If I had to choose a class that I am the captain of, probably the Galaxy class.
Okay, that's a fair enough option.
Solid
again,
choice.
I don't dislike the Galaxy class. Like I do on Star Trek Online because it's a bitch to fucking control.
Okay, I was about to come at you.
Yeah, no. Just because it's a bitch to control on Star Trek Online. But other than that, I thoroughly love the Galaxy class. I really do. It's not a bad design ship.
I like the way it's
It's
designed.
probably one of the more comfortable ships that we see in all of Star Trek. The only ship I would think would be a little bit more comfortable than the Galaxy class would be the Odyssey, which you have not seen, or the Sovereign class, which you have not seen yet. That's
Right.
the Enterprise E that will be given to Picard in the movies.
E or D.
My last.
See me, I just want the chairs that are on the TNG ship. Take those chairs and put them on a Constitution class. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Really?
All right. You've seen the handoff from
Yes.
the next generation, or from the original series to the next generation, with
Mhm.
Bones
Bones.
talking to Data at the end of Encounter at Farpoint Part 1.
hmm
Your feelings on that episode and the last time we get to see Dr. McCoy.
It was very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a very wonderful way to send it off.
Mm-hmm.
If you hear a noise in the background, Levy is chasing a very tiny Pringles can around on the floor. But I think it was a great send off. It was very emotional. I also loved his Admiral uniform. It looks like a very comfy sweater. I would love to wear it.
I have to agree. I do want his Admiral's uniform from that episode.
I think my sister, if I got that, my sister would probably yell at me because I would look like a librarian.
Yeah.
But I love cardigans. But I think it was a great send off. I love that Data was the one to do it too.
Mhm.
I think it was a good parallel of Vulcans and Android.
Mhm.
And it was a great, especially with the relationship that McCoy has with Vulcans, and he's all like, fuck you, you sound like a Vulcan, you ain't gonna point years, I'm very old, what the fuck are you? And I just love it. I loved everything about it. It was, I think, a very wonderful way to do it.
Mhm.
I know that there's more. You've shown me a couple of them. And I can't wait to get there to thoroughly enjoy it, having watched everything. I look forward to it very much.
And with that, a final question being, what of Star Trek that you have left are you most excited for?
I don't think
You've got the rest of TNG,
Mhm.
getting to know that crew, getting Q, getting more episodes with Q,
very excited for you.
getting episodes with Guinan. You have Deep Space Nine coming up. You've got the TNG movies, which show, we're getting a lot in there. And I'm not going to give you any spoilers on things coming up, even though you know most of this.
Yeah.
You've got Voyager, the Picard series, and Starfleet Academy. Where, what are you most excited to see next? Where does your mind go when you think of what's next? Where does your mind stay? This is what I can't wait for.
To be quite frank, I am very excited for all of it. I am enjoying seeing everything here. I really, I'll touch on this after this question, but I really enjoy seeing the things and how it parallels to things we are dealing with today. So I am excited to see what else there is that parallels to things we are currently dealing with, or things that we could learn, take lessons from as people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I see. So in a not serious way, I am so excited about all the episodes with Q. I cannot wait for those. Those are going to be my favorite. I've already seen one snippet that he's already told me is probably going to end up being my favorite. It's the war, sir, I must protest. I am not a merry man. I cannot wait for that episode. For one, Robin Hood is one of my favorite stories in general. So I cannot wait to see how that goes. I know you want cake. It's not time for cake yet.
Other characters that you're excited for, like on Deep Space Nine, you've heard us talk about Quark a lot. You've heard us talk about.
I've seen a couple of episodes of
right. I know.
Deep Space Nine.
Like I said, you've seen episodes of Deep Space Nine in passing with me, because it is, again, my favorite of all Star Trek series. So I go back and I watch it more often than I watch any of the others. Are there certain characters that we haven't met yet that you're excited about?
I am excited to meet Guinan and Odo. I'm excited to meet a lot of characters, including Jadzia Dax, because Had Levy been a girl, we would have named him Jadzia. And we would have kept the D to, it would have been Jadzia Denise, though, and not Dax, which I would have been happy with either on mine. I think that would have been fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And when I told my dad that, he was like, well, that's funny, you're not serious, right? And I was like, nope, I'm 100% serious. So I'm excited to see a lot of characters. I'm very excited to see where they go. I'm excited to explore characters I've already met.
And
I'm thoroughly excited.
and as we progress with TNG, who is your favorite character so far, and who are you most willing, or who are you most excited to get to know?
I think this is going to speak wonders to myself. Just like how your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle character says everything you need to know about you, my favorite character that I am excited to explore is going to be Worf, actually. That is not a surprise at all.
Worf is a very complex character. We love Worf. He is a very complex character because much like Spock, he is a Klingon raised in the Federation, more or less. He's seen as not a true Klingon by his species, but he's also not truly Federation because he is not because he is of the Klingon species.
Yeah.
He's a very complex character. We do love him for it. So,
well, like that, and everyone keeps telling, or everyone, I've asked y'all, and y'all, if I asked y'all if I was an alien in Star Trek, what alien species I would be, and without, I don't even think it took y'all a fraction of a second, everyone was like, oh, you'd be a Klingon. And I was like, oh, what makes you say that? Not like half of my friends call me Red Rage or anything.
Klingon.
And which I thoroughly enjoy. Not gonna say I don't. But it's still like kind of, after everything I've seen with Klingons, I'm like, what? No, I'm not a Klingon. And then I meet Worf and I'm like,
Yes, you are.
yes, I am.
yeah,
My favorite weapon is
a battle.
a batleth. I plan on getting a batleth tattoo. I think it's very obvious that I am excited to meet the Klingon.
Yeah.
I also saw a snippet, a little thing on from Picard on TikTok where he's all like, I am Worf, son of Yoda,
Son
blah,
of
blah, blah.
Moog.
I have made chamomile tea. Would you like sugar?
House of
And
Rozhenko.
I'm like,
Bane to the Duras family.
I have made chamomile tea. Would you like some?
I've made chamomile tea. Would you like sugar?
And then she's like, what?
Yeah.
And that's I think that's
You're fucking Worf.
you're Worf. You made tea?
Again, as we get closer, as you get to know Worf, it's very funny when you get to meet him on Picard. Because you get these moments where
We're all gonna
Worf and
die.
Riker are about to go into this fucking battle place, and Worf's like, "I'm a pacifist," and Riker's like, "Fuck, we're all dead."
We're all gonna die.
Hey, no.
Well, with that, let's talk about Prodigy real quick because there's not really much we can talk about Prodigy. Prodigy is another Star Trek series, and the animation style geared towards kids specifically. Prodigy ran for what, two seasons, 3 seasons,
2 seasons.
2 seasons. A very short-lived animation in Star Trek. Again, very much geared toward kids. Kind of set up like Disney's Young Jedi.
Like it involves them, but not really.
Right.
I'd say it's more of like an older kids kind of like your teenage type show.
Yeah.
I would say.
Like Disney XD level.
Yes.
Where it's like
Yes.
there's
Thank
like
you.
Disney for the children, and then there's you're not a child, but you're not a teenager, but you have a more mature taste than
Right.
babies.
Yeah. It's got that kind of feel to it. I feel like.
I have no idea. I've never seen Star Trek Prodigy.
I feel like Star Trek Prodigy, more or less, is kind of a love letter to Voyager. In that particular aspect, I saw the whole. I watched the whole thing all the way through. I enjoyed it. Like, it's not my favorite, mind you, but I do feel like it's worthy of mention, and I feel like it's good. Not that that's a hard bar to
Like I said,
pass for
I
me.
mean, I haven't seen Prodigy either. Like I said, I saw like a couple of the trailers for it when it first came out and stuff like that. It didn't appeal to me because again, I'm not in that era anymore in my life.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
I mean, at this point in
Actually,
time, I haven't been in that era for like 20 years. So, you know, I don't think that I probably would watch it. I mean, maybe like when Artemis and Levy, my kids get a little bit older, you know, trying to introduce them into Star Trek, I might show them that along with the animated series. You know, kind of introduce them, get them, you know, see if they have an interest in it so that, you know, I could show them, you know, the other shows
Right.
as they get older. I mean, you guys have heard we've talked with we've talked about my kids already have seen Star Trek. You know, they've been watching the shows with us. You know, but Levy again has the attention span of a goldfish and has the memory of a goldfish.
Well, they do
So
have
he's
a Star Trek pre-K show out now.
oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember that, but like I was saying, they were getting too cutesy with their design.
Yeah, yeah. And then but Artie, we've taught Artie live long and prosper. You know, she does the hand moments, hand signal for it. She likes to do it when I'm feeling upset because she knows that I love Star Trek, and and it gets me to smile. So, you know, but yeah, I have not seen Prodigy. Just haven't really had the will or want to see it.
Sure.
But I am very excited about next week's episode talking about Lower Decks. More of an adult animation,
Oh.
but Star Trek.
Oh yeah. I am here for this
And
one.
it's gonna be fun. Um, have a really good cast on that show. You know, because let's face it. I mean, other than DeForest Kelly, Star Trek launched the careers of pretty much everyone else there. William Shatner had done a couple shows here and there before Star Trek. Leonard Nimoy was more or less a guest star on shows before Star Trek. But Nichelle Nichols, James Doohan, Walter Koenig, George Takei. This was really their stardom. The birth of that right there with Star Trek. So to say that the original series had an A-list cast, I mean, yes, they would be considered an A-list cast now. They would be considered an A-list cast, 20 years ago. But they were B-list, C-list actors at the time they did the original series and the animated series. Prodigy, not real sure about the cast on Prodigy, to be honest with you. Probably kind of the same thing. They were B-list, C-list actors. But we get in with Star Trek Lower Decks, and you've got guys like Jack Quaid on there. Who Jack Quaid is not necessarily a list. He's getting there. He's getting there, and he much deserves the title now. But at the time of Lower Decks, he'd only really done The Boys at that point in time. He had done Scream 6, through in his time on Lower Decks. So he was earning the title of A-list then. But yeah, very much a really good cast for Lower Deck.
I feel like he belongs on a list. I don't know if he's a list.
I love Jack Quaid. Come on. But Hannah's changing the diaper real quick. She's gonna come back in here. She wanted to talk about one more thing. I'm not sure what that is. But so what do you guys think? I mean, you've asked your questions. You got to hear some of her thoughts on Trek so far. How is she holding up? What's her grade?
I'll give her a solid B, maybe B plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say B plus.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm
I
curious
feel
to
like-
see what she's gonna say about Picard and the next gen as we get into that.
I feel like it would be a little bit higher if, and this is just me, and I'm not trying to be mean, but it feels like she's trying to put a lot of emphasis on certain parts of the show that don't need it.
Yeah.
Like when she's trying to equate all of what's going on today in our lives to Star Trek, that's not the point of Star Trek.
Right. And I completely agree. I do. But I will say that there are parallels between the shows and what was happening at the time.
Mhm.
You know, not
Mhm.
necessarily what's happening today. That would be more of like maybe something Starfleet Academy could touch on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, uh,
Well, and I think they're
But-
kind of trying to, from what
Right.
I have seen of Starfleet Academy. I think they're trying to
But I
touch
know-
on some more today's issues.
right. But I know doing that today, especially with who's about to buy Paramount and everything, you kind of got to tiptoe around those things now more than ever before. So, all right, what was your last thing you had?
Kind of what y'all are talking about now. Not necessarily that it has parallels to what is happening now, but there are lessons that we could learn now that they did touch on then that were very adamant, or not adamant, very
Relevant?
controversial then.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have been reposting on TikTok the scene from the original series where they're on that planet that paralleled Earth, but during like what was it, World War II or World War One, Japan beat out America, and so
You mean Germany never stopped?
Germany never stopped, and so
Mm.
the white man was seen as uncivilized and everything. But the papers that they were saying were their sacred documents was the Constitution. And where Kirk is saying, we the people, that means all the people. And that's something that is happening right now is, when it says we the people, it means everybody here. It's not just one person over another. And that's something that is, and I've touched on this, something similar, when I had to take over for you on the Nerdy podcast, Nerdstown.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where the topic was, is Star Trek political? Yes, it is. Not necessarily every episode, but there are political themes that I know that Gene Roddenberry made sure were being discussed. And that is stuff that I think personally, Star Trek is something that should be shown in schools with the parallels of history. Like, this is what the show was talking about. This is the parallel to what was happening at the time.
Mhm.
And how we can learn from that in today's age. Because there are things that are coming full circle that are happening that Star Trek talked about. And like today's age, would we have all of these diverse people on the bridge the way that Star Trek had them? If Star Trek happened, if we had warp capabilities right now, would there be a Japanese person at the helm? Would there be a Russian at the helm? Would there be a Black woman in a position of
Communication.
like in communications, but also would she have her rank? And then would we have an alien as our first officer? Is this stuff that would happen today? Thinking realistically, would we? Ideally, yes. It shouldn't matter because it doesn't. But in today's day and age, would that be happening? Probably not. And then, like, especially for the time frame when it happened, it had the first interracial kiss on camera
Mhm.
between, Kirk and Uhura. that was groundbreaking for the time. While that scene is kind of, a lot of interracial marriages happen now, there are still a lot of people who don't think it should happen. It's untrue. Just like how I said a minute ago that, you know, if you have a problem with a man in a skirt today, but you have no problems with the uniform of Next Generation, then maybe it's not the uniform that's the problem. Maybe it's not who's wearing the uniform, you know? And that's stuff that, like, there are people and things happening in today's day and age that those things speak to now. But the whole theme of it, like, we're not having the same problems that we had then. And they all speak to what was happening when the shows came out. But there are some underlying themes that do speak out to what's happening now that we could learn from. And I think that it would be a good thing to, like, have, like, show the parallels of, well, this is what was happening in the 60s and this is what the show was talking about. And how they correlate. And I think that would be a great topic in schools. Like, when Artemis and Levy and any other kids we have get around to that part in school where they're talking about the 60s and the Cold War and everything, I want to show them Star Trek so that they can maybe correlate it in a way. I think it would be great because some kids, you know, well, oh, this is happening, this is what we're talking about in school, but the show makes it make more sense to me because it correlates it without directly saying it. Like, I process information that way. It helps me understand what I'm learning better. And I think that would be a great way to teach kids. Just in general, there's a lot of stuff that we could learn from Star Trek if people truly watched it. Like, truly watch it and think about what it's saying. It is we, the people, not just we, the person.
Yeah.
Brady, you got something.
While I do agree with a good bit of what you're saying, one problem that I have is when you were talking about, you know, if we had Star Trek today, you know, in our lives, and would we have all of these people on the bridge? The thing you have to remember and understand is that the reason that they have all of those people on the bridge, all those different diverse sets, is because they've had a major event. They've had that unity event to bring those people together.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Right.
have that. We have not had, since World War II, we have not had a massive unity event where it was people against something. We don't right now. Right now the world as it is we are so focused on divide. But Star Trek has already got through that. You know, they even
Right.
in Strange New Worlds. Or no, that's not Strange New Worlds. The eugenics war. Coming just off that was in Enterprise. Enterprise, that's the one I'm thinking. Coming right off of World War III. They've only just started coming together in that unity event of, okay, we need to knuckle down and we need to get together.
Yeah.
You can't have that today because everybody is against everybody. It doesn't work.
Right.
Without that significant catalyst, Star Trek, Starfleet would never work.
And
Right,
that's
and-
where we're at right now, in all honesty, as a people.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the timeline that Starfleet gave us, we're right at the edge of the start of World War III. So.
And I really hope that the world can come together so that Star Trek can happen. I would love to see a world where that is possible. And I think a lot of people do. It's not it's just a box.
Okay.
I think the people want it. It's just a matter of getting to it at this point. And unfortunately, it's going to take a big catalyst like the eugenics wars and World War III to get there, which unfortunately means a lot of casualties. But at the same time, if that's what it takes to gain the world peace, then that's what it takes. And it'll be unfortunate if we see it. It'll be unfortunate. But, you know, at the same time, if that's what it takes to get out there like we want, to explore the universe, to meet other cultures that more than likely do exist on other worlds, then I can't wait.
Oh, they do. Anybody that says we're the only thing in the universe is a dumbass. But
There is no
that's me.
way we're the only. There's no way that we're the only things on the universe. On the universe, in the universe,
But
on the
yeah,
planet.
but with
My
that,
brain like-
that is Hannah's take so far on Star Trek. That is, there's the original series. There's Prodigy for you guys. So yeah, next week we've got Lower Decks, and then we're on to other things about Star Trek. As we dive into this, we could probably do another couple. Dive into Starfleet Academy again to kind of get see where they're going and kind of do a where are they going to take this kind of guessing game a little bit, but we'll see when we get there.
Once Chris
So-
finally catches up.
Yeah, once I finally catch up.
We're doing for the next week.
So, with that though, this is Captain Yarbrough, and I am signing out for the night.
I am Captain Hudson, also signing out.
Lieutenant Junior Greg Carter, signing out.
I do whatever my captains tell me to do.